in the crib, man. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's...
Is it on? Hello? Can you hear me? All right, cool. So, I have tried to film this so many times. Mainly because the first time I did it didn't have audio. I filmed the whole thing. It was great. It worked perfectly. And then I realized it wasn't recording audio. So, here we go with take 3 or 4. I don't know what it is. The biggest thing that I wanted to address today is the fact that, let me put you up here, is the fact that I told you all beginning of the year, hey, I'm going to do video and I'm going to put out a 1 video a month. That's not going to happen. That was a stupid idea because life gets in the way. My wife and I are expecting. That was crazy. I'm not going to tell you when, not going to tell you the name or anything like that, because that's for me to know and you not to find out unless you know me personally. Most of you that are following me or that will probably watch this video probably do know me, but for the people that don't know me, hi, my name is Nate Black. I am a photographer, videographer, and sometimes designer from Atlanta. And when I say those things, sometimes it kind of, you know, a lot of people that are in the creative space go, yeah, we all have, you know, things that we do where we're all a jack of all trades kind of thing. Well, something that I've realized over the years is I have been doing photography for almost 11 years now. And during COVID, got into design, super fun. I'm not a brilliant designer. I will let you know who to pick for your designers because there's my buddy Steven, there's buddy Chandler, there's countless people that I know that are wonderful, wonderful designers. So many that I cannot think of right now. But all that to say is there's things that you go through in life and you go, hey, that was a pivotal thing that helped me, or a pivotal tool that helped me throughout my journey as a creative. And one of those things is a lens that really is near and dear to my heart, which is the 50mm. Welcome to the kitchen. I got Duncan today. So, Pelican with all the fun little doohickeys and stickers, because people got to put that on there. My peeps, Grace and Peace Tea Company, check them out. Got roughed up by TSA, and Out with Old, buddy Austin, and countless others over in Tennessee doing great work. Did I put my Pelican on top of this countertop to make it look aesthetically pleasing? Yes, I did. Now, here it is, 50mm, G Master 1.2, wonderful, wonderful lens. I love it so much. Ignore the flowers in the background. It's almost Mother's Day. Got flowers for all the wonderful women in my life. Guys, even if you're not married, even if you're not dating, spoil your mother, because she is the person that brought you into this world and can take you out, which is what my mom told me a lot of times, because let's face it, I was a handful. Now, much like me, as a kid, being a handful, sometimes you have a handful of lenses that you feel like, oh, I'm gonna bring, you know, the 24-70, I'm gonna bring the 16-35, I'm gonna bring the Holy Trinity, the 70-200, like the 3 big lenses. I'm gonna bring all primes and have the 24, 35, 50, 85, 135, you know, whatever it might be. I have no issue. If that's your thing and if that works for you, workflow, all that, that's great. This lens, not this specific lens, but this lens as a whole, as a 50mm, is the lens that I have used for, I'm gonna say about 95 to 97% of my work, and will continue to use this lens. This is not just this lens. I have used Sony's, I have used Canons, I've used Fuji's, I've used Nikon's, I mean, you name it. I have tried out so many different 50 millimeters, and when I first got a camera back in the day, of course you have the kit lens, that's the 16 to 55, but I realized that I was using the 50 millimeter focal length in that zoom length. And I really gravitated towards that because I felt like it really was, you know, it wasn't punched in at like an 85, but it wasn't as, you know, wide as a 35. It was that middle ground. Now, I know 35 is considered like your eye or the focal length of your eye, but I truly love the 50 mil. I think it's great. I know the Sony one is a little bit pricey, the 1.2. I think it's around, I want to say 1,600. I'll put the actual price right here. But I love it. I think it's wonderful. I know Sigma just came out with their new DGDN line, which is going to be a 1.2 as well. And I think that's at like $900. Like it's like way less price than the Sony one. It's whatever works for you. Sigma has always been great to me. I love Sigma, but they never made a 1.2 for the 50. So I prefer 1.2. There's nothing wrong with 1.4 or 1.8 or f2. There's plenty of options out there. I like the 1.2. I love the cinematic look that it brings to everything that, you know, you're capturing, any content that you're doing. It really does. And a lot of movies, you know, shockingly or not, are filmed on a 50 millimeter or 50 millimeter equivalent. If you ask a lot of photographers and videographers nowadays, they're gonna say the 50 millimeter. That's their go-to lens. If they had one lens, they don't get anything else. You get one camera, one lens. They're probably gonna pick a 50 millimeter and whatever else camera. I don't know. But I mean, I'm filming this on a new camera, the FX3. It looks really nice. I actually kind of like it. And that's because I'm getting into more and more video, not just for YouTube, but for my client work. I'm getting a lot more into video. And so I really wanted to test out and kind of get used to a cinematic camera that really could hone in how I like shooting, how I like doing things. And so when I asked around and when I've talked to my buddy Kim and Daniel and Joe, I'll leave their, and even Kevin, I'll leave their links and put their faces somewhere around here. I don't have an editor, it's me. I'm editing these videos, so I don't get to say like, oh, hey, put that in the video. I'm not that cool. But if you asked them, it's probably gonna be the FX3 from Sony because it's just a great camera. Easy to handle, easy to maneuver. And honestly, I love the quality that comes out of this camera. I think it looks really awesome, and the grading is not super hard. I love color grading, so it looks really, really cool when you're color grading. Now, all that to say is this lens, yes, is pricey. I'm not saying, hey, go get the priciest one. The RF from Canon, stupid price. I mean, it's like, I think $2,500. Still, it's been out for a long time. Excuse me, icy break. Okay. I highly recommend that if you are wanting to get a piece of new gear or try out some cameras, try out some lenses, I mean, heck, try out this lens, I highly recommend renting it. There's Lens Rental, Lens Pro to Go, Aperture Rent, you name it. I'm sure there's a rental area, you know, in your state or country that is awesome. I highly recommend Lens Rental. I've used them for years. Aperture Rent is close to home in Atlanta. I use them a lot. Lens Pro to Go I've used for a few different things if I can't get things at other places. So just highly recommend renting whenever you're getting into videography, whenever you're getting into a new lens, whenever you're trying a new thing out. Definitely recommend renting. Now, all that to say is I'm gonna throw up a few images at the end of this video that I've taken with the 50 millimeter. Not necessarily just this 50 millimeter, but across the board. I'll show you ones that I did with Canon, that I did with, you know, Nikon, with Sony, with Fuji, with even with the Leica equivalent 50 millimeter. I'll put those up there, and I'll show you. Now, if Leica ever came out with a version of the Q3 or whenever they come out with a Q4 or something, and they gave you an option of doing a 28 millimeter, a 35, and a 50 millimeter, that would be awesome, because I would 100% buy the 50 millimeter version and call it a day, because I would love a camera system to be a one-stop shop place. I don't know when that's going to ever happen. Apple, Leica, somebody, Sony, just make a compact camera like the Fuji X100 and make it a built-in lens with a 50 millimeter that's roughly 60 megapixels, can shoot a couple of things of video, and call it a day. Please make one of those, please. I know I'm asking for a lot, but please. Now, all this to say is, here's a new video, me talking about a really cool lens that I love. It does not have to have the fancy dials on it. It does not have to be 1.2. It does not have to have a click on, click off thing, okay? It doesn't have to have a custom function button. I don't care about that stuff. I really don't. As long as you can use it and get the quality of image or video that you're really wanting, great. So this is coming from a guy who loves the simple things. I love a 50 millimeter. It is my ride or die for everything I do. Now, I'm filming on a 24-70. I think it's a great lens as well. That's all in my kit. I literally will listed it out on my Instagram the other day. I'm now running with the Sony A7R III, this 50 millimeter, 24-70, and the FX3, microphone, ND filters, that's it. 2 lenses, 2 cameras, call it a day. I really could just do 1 camera, two lenses, or 1 camera, 1 lens, which would just be this and my A7R III. But I'm adding in new things to my gear and all that, but kind of keeping it compact and simplified so that I can fit it in 1 Pelican case or even throw it in my backpack and call it a day. Because ultimately, you want to simplify your gear, because if you have a ton of lenses, a ton of cameras, eventually you're going to be carrying 3 Pelican cases, 2 backpacks, and just be exhausted going through the airport. And TSA is going to be like, I'm going to have to check this guy's bag. Don't want to do that. So all that to say is simplify your gear. I feel like 2024, really I've honed into the type of work I like doing, to the type of things I like doing, and even videography being added in to the mix a little bit more. I've honed into the way I like shooting, the way that I can simplify my shooting in the sense of minimizing my gear, but also minimizing the shots that I take. That goes with photography, video, and even like design work that I do is very simple. Now, all that to say is, I know that people have their way of doing things. They like doing things a certain way. There's some people that I know that thrive off of having a ton of lenses, a ton of cameras, and do great work. I have my buddy Mitch Barton, shout out to him, Atlanta United's photographer, works for Mercedes-Benz, awesome dude. And he shoots a ton of Sony stuff now. I mean, he just switched over, their whole team switched over. But he thrives off of using like 3 or 4 cameras a game, and you know, he kills it every time. I'll throw up a couple images of his. But seriously, I recommend simplifying your gear, figuring out what works for you, and if anything, go out, try a 50 millimeter that you haven't tried, or just take the next job that you do, like whether that be a wedding or concert or maybe corporate stuff, or maybe a lifestyle shoot, or just portraits or something like that, and just use a 50 mil and try it. Just try it out for yourself. Now, I am doing a little bit of a take on Steven Schultz, my buddy's video he put out that he used the Canon RF 1.2, I think about a year ago. I'm giving credit where credit's due. I was inspired by that video because it really brought perspective of like, hey, I use my 50 millimeter a ton. So giving credit where credit's due. He's a wonderful human. He's the one that redesigned all my logos. I love it. Looks wonderful. Really feels like me. So shout out to him. I'll leave his links and I'll put everything, maybe a goofy picture of him right here or something. But seriously, if you need design work or if you just want a wonderful human to be friends with, go be friends with Steven. So all that to say is, I hope you guys enjoy this video. I know it's different. I know that I haven't done a video in a while. I get it. Okay? I understand. But I'm gonna try my best to put out more content, put out more videos. They might not be this long and they might not be this short or whatever it might be. It might just be a short. It might just be a 30-second video of me just going, hey, update or whatever. So all that to say is, hope you love this. I'm not gonna do gear stuff. I already told you guys that in the beginning of the year. I'm not like stickler about the things that I'm gonna do. I just want to make videos and hopefully you guys like it. Hope you guys have a great day. Hope you humans are amazing. Peace.
I saddle up my horse and I ride into the city. I make a lot of noise, cause the girls, they are so pretty. Riding up and down Broadway on my old stud Leroy, and the girls say, save a horse, ride a cowboy. Everybody says, save a horse, ride a cowboy. Well, I don't give a dang about nothing. I'm singing and bling blinging while the girls are drinking. Long necks down, and I wouldn't trade old Leroy or my Chevrolet for your Escalade or your freak parade. I'm the only John Wayne left in this town, and I saddle up my horse and I ride into the city.